In today's world, fear has become a constant companion, lingering in our minds, shaping our decisions, and driving the news cycle. But what if this fear wasn't just a natural response to uncertain times? What if it was being used deliberately as a tool of control? Welcome to our in-depth review of Tammy Bruce's latest book, Fear Itself: Exposing the Left's Mind-Killing Agenda. In this powerful and controversial work, Bruce pulls no punches in exposing what she sees as a systematic strategy to manipulate the public through fear, keeping society in a state of perpetual anxiety and ultimately subservience. As someone who's transitioned from a liberal activist to a conservative commentator, Bruce offers a unique perspective on the ideological battles shaping our world today. Her previous works, The New Thought Police and The Death of Right and Wrong, tackled issues like free speech and moral relativism with sharp, often provocative insight. But in Fear Itself, she goes even further, arguing that fear is not just an emotion, but a weapon. According to Bruce, the left has refined fear into a precise instrument of political manipulation, one that is used to maintain control over the public, stifle dissent, and reshape the very core of American values. She claims that by keeping people in a constant state of fear, whether it's about pandemics, climate change, or social unrest, the left can justify expanding government power and eroding individual liberties. The book opens with an exploration of how fear works on a psychological level, how it can paralyze thought, stifle debate, and lead to a dependency on authority. Bruce traces the historical use of fear as a tool of control, drawing parallels to today's political landscape. Her thesis is clear. In the hands of the left, fear is not just a byproduct of crises. It is an engineered phenomenon used to push forward a broader ideological agenda. Bruce devotes significant attention to how the COVID-19 pandemic was handled, claiming that what began as a public health crisis quickly became an opportunity for the left to extend government reach. From lockdowns to mask mandates to vaccine requirements, Bruce argues that fear was the underlying force that allowed for unprecedented levels of government intervention in our daily lives. But the pandemic is just one example. Bruce also delves into the rise of cancel culture, a phenomenon she sees as a modern-day inquisition, designed to instill fear in anyone who dares to challenge the dominant narrative. She describes how cancel culture doesn't just silence dissent. It creates an environment where people are too scared to speak out, too fearful of the consequences to express unpopular opinions. Identity politics is another key battleground in Bruce's analysis. She argues that the left's focus on race, gender, and sexuality isn't just about promoting social justice, it's about sowing division and creating a sense of crisis. According to Bruce, by framing these issues as existential threats, the left can keep society in a constant state of fear, making radical solutions seem not just acceptable, but necessary. The book also introduces us to the characters driving this narrative: politicians, activists, and media figures who, according to Bruce, have played pivotal roles in perpetuating a culture of fear. She takes aim at the mainstream media, accusing it of sensationalizing dangers and amplifying anxieties to further a left-wing agenda. The media, she argues, is not just reporting the news, it's shaping the narrative, fostering a sense of crisis that serves the left's goals. Bruce's examination extends to the educational system, which she claims has become a breeding ground for fear and indoctrination. By teaching young people to view the world through a lens of victimhood and danger, Bruce argues that schools and universities are conditioning the next generation to accept greater government control and less personal freedom. But Fear Itself is more than just a critique. It's a stark warning. Bruce contends that if this culture of fear is allowed to continue unchecked, the consequences will be dire. The loss of individual liberty, the rise of authoritarianism, and the erosion of trust in our institutions are all signs of a society on the brink of a dangerous transformation. Yet, amidst the darkness, Bruce offers a glimmer of hope. She calls on readers to recognize the tactics being used to manipulate them, to resist the pull of fear, and to reclaim the values of freedom and personal responsibility that have long defined American society. In conclusion, whether you agree with her or not, Tammy Bruce's Fear Itself is a thought-provoking and timely read. It challenges us to think critically about the forces shaping our world and to question the narratives we're being fed. This is not just a book, it's a call to action, a plea to stand up against a culture of fear that threatens to erode the very foundations of our freedom. So, if you're ready to confront the fear, if you're prepared to challenge the status quo, then dive into Tammy Bruce's Fear Itself, exposing the left's mind-killing agenda. It's a book that will leave you questioning, debating, and perhaps even a little less afraid.